everyone, I am Dr. Devyani and you are watching Epistasis. So in today's video we will discuss about, it is a quick revision about the chapter Neural Control and Coordination. So this chapter is in the CBSE Biology Class 11 syllabus, chapter number 21. Okay, so in this today's in this session, this is 2020 and 2021. So syllabus has been reduced and only some part of this syllabus is in your this session, syllabus of this session. Okay, so in this video I will only address those reduced part only, right? So in some other video I will cover the whole syllabus, and then we will discuss about the NEET previous year's questions which are coming from this chapter, Neural Control and Coordination. Okay, so let's get into the video. So neural control and coordination, so it is mainly about coordination. So what is coordination? It is a process through which two or more organs interact and complement the function of one another to maintain homeostasis. Okay, so body में हर organs की जो function है वो synchronized way में होना चाहिए, and that's why coordination is very important. Okay, so when to do some particular function or any metabolic activities or anything, there are two or more organs are involved, so their functions should be interlinked with each other, and they should interact with each other and complement their functions, right? To do this whole thing, coordination is there, and it is to maintain the synchronization of the whole living organism, right? So during physical, it is a example of this coordination. So what happened during physical exercise? Energy demand is very high, right? Because energy demand is increased for maintaining and increasing muscular activity. So muscular activity भी बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है, तो energy demand is also very increased, right? So that's why supply of oxygen is also increased. Again, increase in the rate of respiration, heartbeat, and blood flow occur, right? So this is so the different type of organs are involved during physical exercise, right? So when physical exercise is stopped, all the activities of nerves and lungs and heart and kidney all gradually return to their normal condition. So for during physical exercise, all these organs are involved. Okay, and they are working accordingly. Okay, they can complement each other's function. Now when it is stopped, all are now working again in a coordinated way to just gradually return to their normal condition, right? So this coordination of the whole body is mainly done by two main systems. One is neural system and another is endocrine system. So this neural system, that means all nerves are here. So they neural system, they provide an organized network of point to point connection, okay, for a quick coordination. So inside nerves, all the impulses or the stimulus is transmitted very quickly within a fraction of second. So that's why they are very fast, and they can coordinate or make a network from one point to another point, right? So it is mainly done by neural system. And in case of chemical endocrine system, there is chemical coordination. Okay, so that means they provide chemical integration, and the chemical is hormone. Okay, so through the particular chemical called hormone, all the associated target organs and all they are interlinked. Okay, so this is the two systems which jointly coordinate and integrate all the activities within a living organism, neural system and endocrine system. And in these two chapter 21 and 22, we will learn about these two systems, right? So start about neural systems. So mainly they are composed of highly specialized cells, and these cells are called neurons, which can detect, receive and transmit different kinds of stimuli. Okay, so they can detect any stimuli, they can receive the stimuli, and they can also transmit the stimuli to the next neuron or to the muscle ends, etc., right? So they can detect, receive and transmit different kinds of stimuli. Different kinds of stimuli means the stimuli can be external, like any change in the environment or anything, and the stimuli can also be from internal. any discomfort which we are facing from inside can also act as a stimuli to this nervous system. Next, neural system is very simple in lower invertebrates. In case of lower invertebrates like Hydra, they are mainly composed of a network of nerves. So nothing will be there. So only network of nerves are there. So they are very simple in lower invertebrates. They are better organized in insects where brains are there, ganglia. The ganglia means fusion of cell bodies. So what are cell body? They are part of neurons or nerves. So we will go into that. So the brain and ganglia will be there, and neural tissues are there. So these different, so they are little more better organized, okay, in case of insect, and more developed in case of vertebrates, right? So in this chapter we are concentrating on human neural system. So human neural system is divided into two parts: central nervous system and peripheral neural system. So central nervous system is made up of two portions, brain and spinal cord, and it is the control and processing unit of whole human neural system, okay? So they control all this neural system and process what to do. If some kind of stimuli come to this CNS, they will detect what to do next, okay? So they are information processing and control center, and made up of two portions, brain and spinal cord. And in case of peripheral neural system, all the nerves of the body associated with this CNS comes under peripheral neural system, and they are made up of two type of nerves, nerve fibers. Why are we calling it a fiber? Because neurons or the nerve cells are very slender and elongated in structure, so that's why fiber word is used. So they are consist of two type of fibers, afferent fibers and efferent fibers. As central nervous system or CNS is the main portion or the main control unit of a human neural system, that's why all the afferent nerve fibers means they are coming from tissues and going to the brain center, okay? So they are just emerging into the CNS, so that's why it is afferent. And in case of efferent fibers, all the neurons or the nerves coming from CNS two different type of tissues are under efferent fiber, are called efferent fibers, right? Again, this peripheral neural system is divided into two parts: somatic neural system and autonomic neural system. Somatic neural system, that means they are mainly related to skeletal muscles, and skeletal muscles are present inside with a lot associated with our limb bones, right? So from this neural system, impulse is going from CNS to skeletal muscle, and autonomic neural system, here impulse is growing from CNS, central neural system, to involuntary organs or smooth muscles, right? So that's why autonomic neural system, and in case of skeletal muscles, somatic neural system is there, okay? And in case of this autonomic neural system is again divided into two portions: sympathetic neural system and parasympathetic neural system. Another part of PNS, that means peripheral nervous system, is visceral nervous system, right? And it comprises of whole complex of nerves, fiber, ganglia, plexus, okay? That means network of different type of nerves, plexus, by which impulses travel from CNS to out viscera, and from viscera to CNS, okay? So for this particular system, it is called visceral nervous system, where impulses go from CNS to viscera and from viscera to CNS, right? Now come to neurons, that means the human neural system, and neurons are the structural and functional unit of neural system, and it is looking like this. So it is elongated structure, that's why they are also called nerve fibers, and there are three portions. So this is cell body, so this is cell body, and here some red color dots are there, it is nasal granules, and from the cell body these branches are just coming out, and they are again branched in shorter length, okay? So these short fibers which branch repeatedly are mainly called dendrites. So these shorter branches are called dendrites, and this long tail like structure is axon, and axon axon is mainly transmit impulse towards the cell body. Okay, so dendrites are there to transmit impulse towards the cell body. That means they receive the stimulant. And axon are long fibers, distal and branch, and each branch finally terminates into these terminals. Okay, so these axons are mainly to transmit the impulse to the next region or the next neuron. Okay, so this branch again terminate into bulb like. So see, this is bulb like synaptic knob. So this is called axon terminal, in which it is branched and it has some button like vesicles, and it is synaptic knob. And synaptic, and here some synaptic vesicles are there. That means inside the synaptic knob, synaptic vesicles means sac like structures are there, and they contain neurotransmitters. So neurotransmitter mainly transmit impulses away from the cell body, and they are very important. So example of neurotransmitter is acetylcholine. Next come to synapse. So synapse or neuromuscular junction is mainly the portion where one neuron end and another neuron or the nerve cell start. So one neuron end means the axonal terminal and the starting of dendrites. So this is called synapse. Okay, sometimes it has some short gap in between them, and it is called synaptic cleft. So we are coming to that in the next portion. And neuromuscular junction, so we know that nerves and muscles are working very hand in hand, so they are very present in very close contact. So when one nerve ends and another plasma lemma, or that means sarcolemma of nerve fiber is there, then this junction is called neuromuscular junction, right? So based on the number of axon and dendrites of neurons, they are divided into three three groups. Number one is multipolar. That means there is one axon is there and two or more dendrites will be there. So this is the picture of a multipolar neuron, and example is this type of neurons are present in cerebral cortex. Next is cerebral cortex is the part of our brain, forebrain, right? Now bipolar, where one axon is there and one dendrite is there. So it is present, this type of neurons are present in retina of our eye. Next is unipolar, where only one single axon is there. Then it is called, it is mainly present in neurons of embryo, right? Now come to the myelinated axon or myelinated nerve. So here in the, surrounding this axon there are some Schwann cells. So this is Schwann cells. So this is the nucleus. So this is not the nucleus, this is the Schwann cell. Okay, so this is Schwann cell, and this layer is called myelin sheath. Okay, so they are in some type of nerves, axon is enveloped with Schwann cells which form a myelin sheath around the axon. So this is myelin, this pink color, this is myelin sheath around the axon, and there is the gaps, there is some gaps in between the myelin sheath, and they are called nodes of Ranvier. Alright, now example is spinal and cranial nerves. So spinal and cranial nerves have are mainly myelinated nerves. Non-myelinated nerves means enclosed by Schwann cells that does not form myelin sheath. Okay, these type of nerves are non-myelinated. That means no myelin sheaths are there. An example is autonomous and somatic neural system. That means the nerves which are comprising autonomous and somatic neural system do not have myelin sheath around their axon, right? Now come to the generation and conduction of nerve impulse. Okay, so how nerve impulse is carried from one neuron to another, or it is just generated in one neuron. Okay, so generation and conduction of the nerve impulse inside a single neuron. So we are now talking about a single neuron where the action potential is generated and conducted throughout the membrane. Okay, so neurons are excitable cells because their membranes are in polarized state. Okay, so first we are talking about the normal state or the resting stage of neurons. Okay, so mainly neurons can be excitable by excited by different type of stimuli. Why? Because they are present in polarized state. In normal condition, in resting stage, they are polarized. So it is mainly done by different type of ion channels and permeable, and which are permeable to different ions, right? Now neurons not conducting any impulse is resting stage. Okay, so we are calling the neuron is in resting stage when it is not conducting any impulse. Now axonal membrane, because we are talking about axon, inside neurons we are just concentrating to axon. Why? Because axon is mainly main part of the nerve which conduct the nerve impulse. Okay, so in case of axonal membrane, that means the plasma membrane over this axon region are more permeable to potassium ion and nearly impermeable to sodium ion in resting stage. Okay, so not only impermeable to sodium ion but also negatively charged proteins. So that's why negatively charged proteins are just accumulating inside the exoplasm. Exoplasm means cytoplasm of inside the axon. So they all the negatively charged proteins and sodium ions and negatively charged proteins are just accumulating inside the exoplasm, and their plasma membrane is permeable to potassium ion but not sodium ion. So that's why exoplasm inside the axon contains high concentration of potassium because it is permeable to potassium, and negatively charged proteins, and very low concentration of sodium because it is impermeable to sodium, right? Whereas outside the membrane there is low concentration of potassium because all potassium ions are now inside the exoplasm, and there are high concentration of sodium because they are impermeable. Okay, so this cause a concentration gradient, and it is mainly maintained by active transport of ions by the sodium potassium pump, which mainly present in the membrane. Okay, so this changes, or this is mainly create a concentration gradient, and here a sodium potassium pump will help a lot. How? Sodium potassium pump is there to actively transport, that means energy is used in this transport, 3 potassium ion outward for 2 potassium ion inward. 3 sodium ion outward, that means for taking 2 potassium ion inward, 3 sodium ion will be going out from the exoplasm. Okay, and this create the sodium ion concentration higher outside the membrane and potassium ion concentration higher inside the membrane. Okay, so if we are talking, if we are saying about this is the plasma membrane, and this is the axon, and this is the plasma, this single line is the plasma membrane. So all the potassium ions are coming inside and all the sodium ions will be there. So just see that 3 sodium ion will go outside against 2 potassium ion. So 1 positive ion deficiency is always there. That's why the inner plasma membrane, inner side of the plasma membrane will always be in negatively charged, will always negatively charged. Okay, so that's mean 3 sodium ions will go outward against 2 potassium ions going inward, and it is axonal membrane. So all negative ion will be generated, negative charge will be generated inside the plasma membrane, and positive charge will be there in the outside of the membrane, and this state is called polarized. That means in normal resting stage, all the exoplasm is inside portion or exoplasm is in negatively charged, right? So it is polarized. So this is also called resting potential. That means the electric potential difference across the resting membrane, resting plasma membrane. Okay, the electric potential difference is called resting potential. So resting potential of this nerve cells is almost minus 70 MV. Okay, so we are talking it negative because inside the axon it is negatively charged, and that's why we called it as a polarized state, right? Now what happens when a stimulus came? So just see here, so this is the site A, capital A, and here a stimulus came at this portion of a neuron. Okay, so a stimulus came here in this pink region and at a site on the polarized membrane, and it becomes becomes permeable to sodium ion. Okay, so at this site it becomes very freely permeable to sodium ion. That's why all the sodium ions which are present outside this membrane will freely come inside the exoplasm. Okay, so there is a rapid influx of sodium ion inside the plasma membrane, and there cause the reversal of polarity. That means that region become positive, and that means that region become depolarized. Okay, because lots of sodium ion will just rapidly influx into this portion, and thus the total charge will become positive at that particular portion, and at that particular portion the membrane will be depolarized. That means inside it is positively charged, outside it will be negatively charged, right? So this is called as nerve impulse or action potential. That means electrical potential difference across the plasma membrane. It is called action potential. Now at site immediately ahead, so at the site which is immediately ahead of this site A, that means site B, here it is negatively charged as it is in the resting state. So here it is again in negatively charged and the outside is positively charged. Now what happens, all these positive ions, positive charge will just move to this negative site inside of the exoplasm, and at the outside all these positive ions from side B will now go to the negatively charged region of site A. So that's complete a circuit. Okay, so current flows on the inner surface from positive to negative, and opposite happens. That means current flows from negative to positive on the outer surface, and it will complete the circuit, right? So this happens. So here this circuit will become this circuit will complete. Okay, and hence the polarity is reversed at the first side and action potential is generated in the next side. What happens for that? All the so this again will be negatively charged, and this again, and this side B will again become positively charged or depolarized. That means polarity reversed in the side A, and side B is now depolarized, right? So the sequence is repeated along the length of the axon, and consequently the impulse is conducted throughout the membrane of the axon. So rise in the stimulus induced permeability in the sodium ion is extremely short-lived. Another characteristics of this action potential is it is very short-lived, extremely short-lived. That sodium ion influx is extremely short-lived, and they quickly followed by a rise in the permeability of potassium ion. Again वो जो normal resting condition है उसमें वापस आ जाता है. So it is happened within a fraction of second, that means nanoseconds, right? Now potassium ion diffuses outside the membrane and restore resting potential at the site of excitation, and the fiber becomes once more responsible to further stimulation. जैसे ही वो पहले वाले साइट ए polarized state में वापस आ जाता है, they are again ready to take another stimulus. Okay, so this is the conduction of nerve impulse throughout the axon. Okay, so this is the end of this part 1 of this chapter or this video. So we will continue in the part 2 about the next portion, that is nerve impulse from in the synapse region. Okay, so if you like my video, just hit the like button and subscribe to Epistasis. Till then, take care and bye.